Talk me through the capstone pitch structure, because that fits in next, doesn't it?
Sort of. There comes a point where you need to start going to groups. So when you're launching a business initially, you tend to be communicating people with people one-on-one. Even when you're sending direct messages, it's one-to-one communication. So there's a lot of like just interacting with people one at a time. Once you want to scale up, by definition, scale is where you start talking to big groups of people. It's where you're trying to communicate to large audiences of people and have a message that resonates with a lot of people. So entrepreneurs have to do a few things that are a little bit hard when they're scaling. They have to communicate with groups of people rather than one-to-one. They also have to enroll people into new ideas. By virtue of the fact that you've got a new business, there's some sort of a new idea that you're presenting people with. You're presenting people with something they haven't thought of or that they haven't had access to before. So this is called pitching, where you're pitching people, to do something. So, you want the beauty of entrepreneurship is that our big primary weapon that we have as entrepreneurs is our pitch. So if you think about like how often entrepreneurs use the pitch, they use it to raise money. They use it to get employees to join the team. We pitch for what we want. It annoys me. People kind of think there's some sort of, secret to entrepreneurship. Largely, we just go out and pitch for what we want. It's like, oh, how did you get the money to get started? I pitched for the money to get started. I talked to, 140 investors and 12 of them went ahead. How did you get that person to join your team? I said, quit your job and come and join my team. They're like, what do you, like, do you expect that people just magically show up? Like, of course you're going to have to pitch people. So if our weapon as an entrepreneur is the pitch, we have to have a sharp weapon. We got to sharpen that weapon up so that it's ready for battle. So a great pitch is sharp. So how do we sharpen it up? There's a few key areas that we sharpen up. So we call it CAPSTONE. Clarity, right? Can we clearly define what is the idea? Authority, why the hell should I listen to you? Why should you listen to me? What gives me any business talking about this? What's my authority? Problem, what problem are we trying to solve in the world? Solution, how have we approached this solution? How do we solve it? Then the T can stand for one of two things. It can either stand for the why, which is the big vision, or the traction, which is what have we done so far? What have we achieved? So certain pitches need a big vision. They need this is the big why. Other people that you pitch to, they need to know where are you at in the roadmap, traction. So I make a choice. Do I want to pitch the why or do I want to pitch the traction? And then opportunity. What's the opportunity for the person? Come and join the team. Invest your money into this. Become a supplier. Become a distributor. Do a joint venture partnership with us. So that's the opportunity. Next steps is what do we need to do next? And then the emotion or the essence at the end is leave people on a high. Make sure you leave people feeling reconnected with the essence of what you do or the emotion of what you do. Don't finish with next steps. Don't finish with a to-do list. Finish with a big uplifting end of the pitch. So I always build my pitches around the capstone method. And that way I've got a very sharp, well-produced pitch. And this is for everything. If I'm pitching someone to quit their job and come join my team, I mentally capstone that. And if I'm pitching a product, I capstone pitch it. If I'm pitching for investment, I do a capstone pitch for that.
And I like the way actually you just dropped in there as well. It works for things like suppliers and distributors and franchisees and anybody you want to get on that journey. It's still within that pitch process, isn't it?
It really is. One of the differences between a real deal entrepreneur and someone who's just running a business is how often are you pitching. So I see people who have been in business for 20 years, but the last time they pitched was 19 years ago. And I go, well, why do you think you deserve to earn more than just a manager? Like, let's just take a traditional business. In most traditional businesses, I can hire a manager for 30 grand, 30,000 pounds. 3 or 4 grand a month, I can hire a manager. If I have a pub down the road that is open till 2 o'clock in the morning and is full of nightmare problems every single day, the person running that might be on 36,000 a year. So when people say, oh, I'm not earning enough in my business, it's like, you're not behaving like an entrepreneur. You're not behaving like a CEO. You're not behaving like some highfalutin person. You turn up and do the work every day. If I wanted to hire someone to replace you, it'd cost me about 35, 40 grand a year. So why should you earn more than 35, 40 grand a year? What? Because you started the business 10 years ago? Who cares? So one of the ways that we know that we're in entrepreneur mode is that we're out pitching for stuff. We're pitching. That's the high value work, right? It's pitching things into existence. It's enrolling people into a movement. I love that movie Braveheart, where he has to ride his horse across to all the clans, and he has to unite the clans, and he has to pitch them into joining him. And then they go onto the battlefield, and they all say, oh, no, we're not having this. And they decide to ride away. And he says, hold up 1 second. Sons of Scotland, you can run and you may live, or you may fight and you may die, right? But he gives them the pitch. He says, you're better off dying on this battlefield. This is what you want to do. You don't want to be laying in your bed regretting this moment. So he gives them, in that moment, he gives them a pitch. He enrolls them into a new behavior. He gets them doing something they wouldn't have otherwise done. It's a great kind of illustration of pitching. Your job as an entrepreneur is to roam around, enrolling people into your battle, and keeping them on the battlefield.